All right, we're back for the discussion of Ex Machina, and if you watched our review, we gave it a fairly favorable review. We liked it. This is the spoiler discussion, and talking about the plot. The ideas here. Again, it's not the most original story of all time, but the characters are what make it interesting. The Oscar Isaac's character is really strange, and you're always wondering, how much he knows about what they're planning and what's happening during the blackouts and those sorts of things. They set up really early that he's like a heavy drinker, so you wonder how much of that. Like, you're always wondering how much is...
But it messes with you because you don't know how much of that is simulation.
How much of that is staged and how much of that is real. And then... we start finding out more and more, and towards the end you find, they find like all of the older models that are like in this closet. You find out that the chef / whatever maid character, is also one of the AI.
Which they telegraph pretty heavily. It's not like...
They do. They do. Like the fact that she can't talk.
They treat that as not like a twist. They treat that like when you find out, they treat it as if, well, you're probably already going to know this.
Yeah.
Which was good. It was like it.
Well, they also do that. They have that character there specifically for one reason, and that's, well, this person is passable as a human, and you get to the scene where she reveals that she's AI. And it causes him, he's like, well, holy hell, maybe I'm AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
him questioning himself, that was a pretty cool scene.
Like, that was an awesome scene, and that was the whole point of her character, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, she serves other functions in the story, too, but there's, the thing with him cutting himself open, like, that to me, there was a point in the story where I thought the direction was going that the story about his parents dying and him being in the hospital for a year, and that's where he learned to code and all of that, as like some sort of planted memory.
Right.
Or the other direction that I was kind of leaning was, maybe these aren't artificially created at all. Maybe these are cyborgs, and Oscar Isaac is like kidnapping people and turning them into cyborgs that think they're AI. Because a lot of the video when they were showing like him with the early prototypes, it looked like because he was focused more on like making them look human in the earlier prototypes, it looked like he was turning people into robots, into cyborgs or whatever. But it was also interesting that, when we get to Ava, she has like hands, feet, and a face, and everything else is, obviously robotic, obviously not human. That they don't, it's not just someone sitting there that looks normal.
That was the one part I thought was like, well, obviously it's all far-fetched, but it was a bit of a struggle for me, like credibility-wise, which was not only had he discovered amazing AI, but like the advanced robotics were just incredible, and that was almost like its own thing, but I was able to overlook that. Yeah,
I mean, part of it is that you need to believe that her face is like the thing that he focused on as part of the test, and it also needs to be like that so that you don't just automatically figure out that Kyoko is a robot.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is that, if she acts like all of the rest of the AI do, which is they just sort of hang around naked and don't care. Like, Kyoko's always taking her clothes off. So if she acted like that and she looked like a normal woman, I guess for the audience that would be extremely distracting. But also it ruins that whole side of the plot that says he's doing this specifically to mess with this guy. He's setting him up to think that he's not quite as far along as he really is.
I thought it was a really great development, like, in that, you know, you see this almost weird love story developing, but then you find out she's literally just manipulating him for that, and that she's so advanced, she's in a sense more intelligent than he is, than the human is.
Right.
She's using his emotions.
She knows how to get what she wants out of him.
And at the end, that is cold and so clear, you know?
Right.
Which was, I thought, amazing.
Yeah, I also thought it was amazing. I also really liked how, and this, I mean, part of this is the writing and part of this is Oscar Isaac's performance, but at the end when he gets stabbed and he's dying and he's walking down the hallway.
Interesting.
He's just like, he just has this response like, well, what a day this has been. Like, instead of turning into like the cackling mad scientist or something like that.
It's like a new discovery for him, right?
Yeah,
He's like, unbelievable.
It was almost like he's like, well, hell, I did it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he completed his own Turing test, I guess.
It was really good. Like you said, though, it's not very original, to the point that there was a movie last year called The Machine that had a very similar storyline. It's also a decent movie if you would look it up.
Yeah.
But they took it, and this is so much better of a movie that it's just they made subtle changes to it. You know, they built tension throughout. They limited it to a certain number of characters, and they let the performances tell the story. And Oscar Isaac, his performance was absolutely amazing.
The whole film was like understated, wasn't it? Like in a good way.
Yeah. There also was this weird thing that kept happening, and maybe it was just me and maybe it was our theater, but I felt like anytime they showed like nature, like whenever they would have a shot that was just like outdoors, it looked fake. But it was like a filter, like the outside edges of the screen had sort of a domish like curve to them. And it was like they put this filter on it, and so it was this weird thing where like when you saw things that were real, they looked fake.
Right.
And when you saw the rest of the movie, it was like everything looked more normal and natural.
I don't know what the thinking was with that.
Kind of something it was just something I picked up on. Like the first time I saw them outside, when they were like climbing up next to the waterfall or whatever, it's like they made this look blue screened, and it's not.
Right.
But they just decided like to put this filter over everything.
I guess it's also to add to the audience's feel that, oh, well, you know, maybe this isn't real.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it is all a simulation.
Yeah, it just gets in your head the whole.
Yeah, there was a very good amount of misdirection.
Oh yeah,
it was really well done.
Because they totally play with your expectations. Like they know you're going to question whether he's real. They know you're going to question whether at times whether Nathan's like this ultimate creation of like it's you know.
Well, and it'd be interesting to watch again and see like how far in advance you can see the outcome. Like how far in advance you can tell that her goal is actually to use him to escape. You know, that sort of stuff.
Clues.
The interesting thing is there are some things that point to that, but then as soon as you start thinking that, they bring in, well, maybe he's an AI and they're testing him, and it's like, oh.
The movie does that so that your first watch you don't know what's going on. Yeah. But that's what I mean about watching it a second time and seeing, like, now that I know what to look for, now that I know, you know, what the signs are, and I can ignore the misdirection of the movie, you know, it's not the editor I'm watching her performance now to see, you know, what information she's giving, if there is any.
What micro expressions she's giving.
Yeah.
How about, okay, so I got a question though. A pragmatic one. Like, so once she escapes at the end, doesn't she have to, like, recharge her batteries?
Yeah.
Or did he discover infinite battery life as well?
That.
Well, I mean, how she powered up, it looked like she just puts her hand against something. So I would imagine that she could probably just, like, pick up a AC cord and,
right,
you know, draw a charge out of it.
Yeah.
One of the things that killed me, and you mentioned it earlier, was her face. Like, you see that the face is kind of like this solid form thing that just fits over I don't know what you would call a canvas. So what's controlling her micro expressions? That's what I was. That's something.
That's where you just can't look into it too far.
Well,
just like when
if
she gets the skin on, her boobs are completely different shapes than when she had you can't look into it that far.
Well, I mean, if he created a brain that can molecularly restructure and redesign itself, that's much more complex than creating skin that can move and grow together or change color or whatever else, it did in the movie.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it that much.
Yeah, that scene where he's like showing off the brain and he's explaining how it works and what it is and how,
that was pretty cool.
Like, if he can do that, he can create whatever he wants.
Another thing that was interesting is, robots, you immediately think they're going to have incredible strength, and he overpowers her fairly easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool that, maybe it was the programming that made her not think maybe she could overpower him or something to that effect.
No, I think he made them small and light intentionally. I mean, partially for realism, but also, you do want to be able to have some sort of physical advantage if something goes wrong. To be able to, you don't want to build something that's 300 pounds and doesn't feel pain.
Don't build Skynet.
Yeah, exactly. But it was cool. Yeah, that's Ex Machina. If you like the way we do these reviews, please like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, and check out all the written and video reviews over at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.